Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Whether it be pure mentorship or senior mentorship, AACAP has a long-standing tradition of honoring its dreamers. Spanning over 4 chapters, this video is a reflection of how AACAP has shaped the lives of trainees and ECPs, ultimately bringing together their journeys to the destination of belonging. Because mentorship matters.
AACAP has been really instrumental in my journey to really solidifying my interest in child and adolescent psychiatry. I first decided that I was interested in psychiatry at the end of my second year of medical school, but I didn't really have any psychiatry mentors, given that my med school didn't have a psychiatry residency yet. So it was through AACAP that I was able to connect with a lot of child psychiatrists in the field and learn more about opportunities such as the annual conference, as well as a lot of the online sessions that they have available for med students as well.
Being encouraged by our amazing AACAP staff representative, Ms. Anneke Archer, to join the medical student and resident committee, because really starting to volunteer as a medical student with a committee, feeling like I have the support of other experienced trainees, was the first step for me to learn more about the organization and feel more comfortable in it.
One of my close friends was in AACAP Latinx caucus, and she let me know that there was only about 3 to 4 members, and that it was a very close group where you can really gain mentorship. So I started going there about 2 years ago, and that's where I got to meet some of my some amazing mentors.
The in-person conference in Toronto last year just completely blew my mind. Going there, just meeting so many people, just the vibe there was, I felt like a kid in the candy shop. When I was getting ready for the conference, I was just looking at all this stuff. I'm like, man, I wish I could clone myself and be at multiple events at the same time. And then you're meeting all these people that do so many cool things. And it was just awesome. And it just, it was absolutely amazing. And I'm super excited for New York this year.
So the first annual presentation that we did had to do with just the unintended consequences of racism. And that was because in our medical school, we have a talk about anti-racism in medicine. And sometimes the Black students following that talk felt triggered almost and felt like they had to pour out their scars for other people to understand. And we just talked about the different struggles that come with that. And the Black Caucus rallied around and talked about how that even starts in elementary and just different dynamics and different stories that they share. And so that one led to the second time I presented with the Black Caucus was about suicide prevention and suicide in the Black youth. Now that was very special to me because my first AACAP conference as a Street Spurlock Fellow, I watched the Black Caucus do this very impactful presentation on the increased rates of suicide in Black youth. And now here we are 4 years later, doing another presentation, but now I'm one of the oral presenters, and I'm doing it with my colleagues about the increased rates of suicide in Black youth, and I'm presenting alongside the people that I watched. So Dr. Bath, I had a whole note about Dr. Bath and what she was saying at the first presentation, and now I'm presenting alongside Dr. Bath, so it's just a full circle moment, and I was able to use all the things that I just learned throughout my medical career in that presentation. So I'm very big on community-based health. I'm very big on systems of care. And I love that that's the direction that AACAP is moving towards. I know Dr. Tammy Benton, the incoming president, is big on systems of care. And so I'm very excited. And I just think that everything that I've been doing in medical school has been a product of my involvement in AACAP.
When I got to the AACAP annual meeting, I saw that they had an art committee, and I was really excited and got involved. Initially, just showing up to the meetings and helping with various projects. Eventually, because of my involvement, they let me be a formal member, and that's been a really positive experience. And through the art committee, I was able to bring to AACAP my interest in Chinese calligraphy and various other creative arts interests I have, and share it with people through these annual meetings.
I found it meaningful to go into medical school, to become a doctor. That's amazing. but it's even more meaningful to help serve as a lighthouse for other people, to show them you can make it through this. And I think that's what AACAP does so well. They have all these people who serve as such great lighthouse for other people. They want to help people. They're great mentors, or even just great friends. I think what's awesome about our MSR sessions is that sometimes in the last 10-15 minutes, it's just like, how are you doing? Anything you want to talk about, just really what's bothering you as a person, or what amazing things are happening. And so I think really looking at us as a human, really the humanistic aspect of AACAP, I think is very meaningful. There are so many amazing committees here at AACAP. You can really do pretty much anything. I would say one thing that really excites me is dancing. I've found a great joy in ballroom dancing and salsa dancing. I love performing. And so one of the AACAP members is Dr. Cindy Chou, and she actually wrote me in for the open mic night at the AACAP annual in Toronto. So I thought that, wow, what a great time to like just show off my moves in front of all these strangers. But I think what was even more amazing was seeing everyone else perform, to see how much talent and passion there is in AACAP.
MSR helped me understand the value of mentorship in so many different ways, right? There's peer-to-peer mentorship. There's mentorship where you're more experienced and more senior in training than somebody who you're mentoring. Through firsthand experience, I realized how valuable mentorship was for me, and how much I learned and grew through mentorship, and how much I wanted to be a mentor to others. That I want mentorship and training to be part of my career, because I remember how valuable those experiences was for me, and I hope that I can continue to do this for as long as I am alive.
I don't think I really grew as much as this AACAP boys became a part of me. Like I couldn't imagine my career without me.
The second key moment, I would say, again, is really under the encouragement of Ms. Archer. She's just been a very tremendous support and a sponsor in many ways. And she encouraged me to apply for the co-chair position for the Medical Student Resident Committee.
I would say that my greatest strength with the work that I do is trying to find the most appropriate path based on what the interests are of the trainee. To always focus on building effective ways for growth and development, and how can I do that? And there's always an opportunity to add value to what that path would look like. And, from there, there may be new paths that spring up.
I would say join AACAP. I would say be a child psychiatrist.
AACAP. Like, I feel like every child and adolescent psychiatrist I've met is incredibly welcoming, and if they don't have like the support that I need, or they don't have like that research that I need, or whatever it is that I may need, they'll find a way to connect me with someone who does, which I think is very unique to child and adolescent psychiatry.
I know it might be hard for some people to find the courage to reach out to someone in the meeting and say, hey, I'd like you to be my mentor. And I want to advise you to have that courage and be confident that, I'm not going to say 100%, but 99.99 of the mentors will say, yes, I would love to be your mentor.
Don't be afraid to get involved. Even if you feel like the one who has the least experience and the least amount of training, that's okay. That's how most of us start out. Don't be afraid to volunteer and get your hands dirty, do a little bit of work, and start planning some events, because your enthusiasm and your involvement is so valuable to the MSR committee and to AACAP.
Seeking out all these opportunities, and whether it be research or clinical work or advocacy or volunteering, make sure that you're doing it for you, and make sure you are enjoying what you are doing, not just for your resume or CV or anything like that. Because yes, it will be important for your professional development, but foremost, it should be important for your personal development and who you are as a person.
I think one of the harder things to do as I started to get involved was realizing my limits at times in different seasons of my life and saying no, basically, or saying later to people who were in higher positions of power than me or people I was trying to impress, etc., etc. But ultimately, those decisions ended up being better for my mental health and in turn better for whatever project that I was being asked to help with, because other more talented and healthier talent could step up and contribute and help me see that, like there's a lot of talent in our community.
Just say yes. So when there's an opportunity or when there's a chance to try something new, just say yes. Yes, I'll give that a try. Yes, explore this. Yes, I'll join you. Or yes, let's sit down and have a chat. Just be open-minded. So during training, that's really important. When you finish training and have a job, then that has to change too, because now you're the mentor, you're the senior, and you have to kind of triage your time or to kind of get stuff done.
Have grace, take care of yourself. Always check in with like your mission and your motives as to why you want to go down a path, and prioritize your relationships, like your loved ones. If there's people you love in your life, make sure you prioritize that, because the reality is this whole thing we're operating in many ways, there's systems that are not going to prioritize your loved ones in those relationships. So that's something that you got to make sure you do, and just take care of yourself.
Capturing belonging would mean that I am seen for my true and authentic self, and that I am accepted for my true and authentic self, that I don't have to code switch, or I don't have to play to a certain stereotype to be accepted, that how I show up authentically will be accepted, and I don't have to play a role, or I don't have to put on a face to be accepted.
So what does capture belonging mean to me? I think what comes to my mind is that we don't know what we don't know. And if we don't foster this space where people feel that they can be safe, they are valued, and that they can be themselves and be vulnerable, then we would never grow beyond ourselves and beyond what we know from our own experiences, I guess. So to capture really is to create the sense of community so that we can all grow together and become something much more powerful than our individual selves.
When I think about the word belonging and how we capture it, I think about fitting in without having to put so much effort into fitting in, that you find yourself smoothly being yourself without having to feel that you need to act in a different way to make someone else happy. It's just like you authentically being yourself, and the person in front of you is accepting you for whoever you are. And that culture of acceptance, radical acceptance, that even though we have so many differences, we also have so many common grounds that connect us and make us belong to one common value, which is our humanity that we belong to.
Mentorship matters.